Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask Kate. And today we're going to discuss it is nutrition training related, but it's not specifically nutrition training, but it's about changing your narrative. And Kate and I were discussing how she wrote a post, I think it was this week or was it yesterday? Today. I saw it, I read it. And so often share your posts in our pages. And, we were just discussing how we have this discussion with women in our program every single day, because I think that they're so conditioned by the fitness industry and the health industry that they can get where they want to be. They can fix all their issues, like 40 plus years of issues in 12 weeks. And they keep going back to these narratives, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, the current narrative is, and it has been probably since the nutrition world or weight loss world has begun, is lose weight quick, lose weight rapid. Those are what you're advertised to. And that sounds good. And as we said, that sounds sexy. I mean, who doesn't want to lose weight quick and get to your ideal weight in 60, 90 days? That sounds awesome. I mean, I'd like to get rich that fast too, but we all know that doesn't really happen. I guess can if you win the lottery.
But everyone's attracted by the shiny pill, right? Like the new thing. They see the thing on Facebook. They're like, oh, look, I'll go and try that.
Totally. I mean, we are all marketed to all the time. And and here's the deal is that we all know that doesn't work. We don't know. It doesn't work. And that what we are promoting is something that's sustainable, that actually fixes the system and isn't all about addressing your weight loss. Because when I say change the narrative is when you start a program, and if your thought process behind that program is, I want to lose weight quick and that's my reward if I do this program well, and that doesn't happen immediately, then you get super frustrated, unmotivated, because you're doing the work and it's not happening. Because the narrative is that's what we should be getting. Weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. Now, when you go through a healing process, that isn't usually the first thing that happens. In fact, for some people, you might gain some weight because that's what needs to happen to get your body heal. And in fact, the quicker, if you want to heal quick, you'll probably gain a lot more weight because you eat a lot more, which will probably heal the system quicker. And if you can handle that psychologically, then great. Then you can gain 30 or 40 pounds and you'll heal a lot faster. For those that don't, and and I know it's because you work with a lot of women and so do I, that's usually not ideal. So
no one wants to get fatter. I understand that. I don't want to get fatter. But I think, like you said, if you are not willing to, and this is not the case for everyone, because obviously everyone's different. We have varying women that we work with, but it's just going to take longer. It's just like we had a client, she's been with us 12 months now, and she was a typical, like you and I, real, like 1,200 calories, heaps of cardio. She had really bad digestive issues. She had no period for 10 years. 10 years. She was tiny, so she was good at restricting. She's come into the program, and it took her 12 months to get her period back. But she wanted to go slowly and increase her calories slowly, and she didn't want to she's actually put on weight, but she hasn't put on body fat. So she's put on muscle and lost body fat. Like she fits into all the same clothes, but her weight's higher, which is obviously good. That's what we want. But she probably could have made that process quicker if she'd maybe eaten a bit more, but she didn't want to. But she probably could have got her period quicker had she gone a little bit faster. Yeah, but she was okay with that because I said to her, look, here's your two options. Option A, you continue on the path you're on and you don't gain any body fat and any weight. However, I don't know how long it's going to take. It'll take as long as it takes. Or you could potentially dial your training back a bit, eat more, put on a bit of body fat and your period will come back. And she chose option A. So, it's...
And I think, as we know, the longer game is always going to be the winning game. But, I think what we're always trying to stress to people is that you got to get your mind off of the weight and onto all these other things to show that your actually health is improving. And, and that's why we promote things like increased temperature and pulse. That's why food log is very important, so you can track these things and see these things. But is your energy getting better? Is your digestion getting better? Do you actually want to have sex now? Because so many people have zero libido when you first start talking to them. And the fact that they actually want it is like a huge improvement. How many PMS symptoms are you getting? And to have someone that hasn't had a period for a very, very long time to kind of reboot them like that is a huge healing process for her system. But, you know, it took 12 months. You know, these things take time, but had she not gone through that process and kept going on her path, you know, she would be seeing all sorts of additional issues, endometriosis. I mean, God knows what these people start going through because they don't correct things.
What's interesting is the narrative, and she actually, because she would message me randomly and she'd be like, you know, Kitty, I've got, like, because her weight was obviously going up, but her body composition was changing. And for her, she was like, I want to like reduce my calorie because I just can't look at the weight going up, you know, blah, blah, blah. So the old narrative creeping back in. But I always just challenge them. I'm like, yeah, but look at you. You look better. Like, why is it that you're so tied to the number on the scales? Like, what importance does that hold for you? Like, you know, what? And she's like, I just want to cut my calories. I'm like, yeah, but cutting your calories isn't going to get you to where you want to be long term. And she's really happy that she didn't now, because now she's eating like, she's only like 50 kilos, but she's eating nearly 2,000 calories, strength training 3 days a week, got her period back, fixed her digestive issues, and she's leaner than when she started, even though her weight is higher. So, but it's interesting that like, again, you say it's because you're so conditioned to it, it just creeps back in.
Yeah, well, and not only the weight, it's just, I think, your own belief systems, you know. I mean, and I know I work with people that love to overexercise and when, you know, and love to get into these places where they think they need to eat less or whatever it is, and to sit there and tell them things like what it is, you know. And I always ask people, you need to list exactly what you want right now and not talk about all the things you don't want, right? I don't want, because, and a lot of people know what they're doing isn't working, yet they cannot program their brain to shift because they're so focused on all those things they don't want that their current program is giving them, that they're failing to even see what it is that they actually do want, right? So, okay, good. You want what? You want better energy? So list all your things that you are wanting to focus on now so that you can start creating that versus all the shit that you don't want that you've been living in for the last 30 to 40 years, because the mind, you know, it takes some time to shift. You know, and help someone feel better physiologically, that is certainly going to help the shift. But, you know, I know for me, because I've been in the fitness industry all my life, so I had really ingrained deep beliefs. And so I would still get triggered to go back to that old way, you know, a year, not, of course, the longer you do it, the less that occurs. But it would occur to me, you know, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, this doesn't work. But the brain takes you back. And so you have to keep the mindset, and I know you guys do that in your program as well, all about on those things you want and what you want to achieve, and then focus on the things that we talk about. Increase tempo pulse. You know, get away from the weight. If you want to focus on the weight and the weight loss, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Oh, totally. And, you know, it's interesting that you say that, and I always am so open with women. It's like, you know, I'm just like you. Like, I still struggle with things and have, like, we talk about stories. So it's like something will happen, and then this, like, you know, for example, you're eating a bit more food, you'll step on the scales, but you still feel like shit and the weight's going up. And then the stories start to come back in and you say to yourself, well, I probably need to cut calories again. And then you find evidence to support that. And then you go and do that. So I think, you know, for me, and I just think about this in business because I'm pretty good with food and training now, but it's your ability to navigate those stories that is going to set you up for success, because I still get them. And I tell women, I just have this little, people probably want, but I just tell them, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Kitty. Like, who is it that you want to become? And I focus on the action required to get to that person. And I try and tell the women to think about that, to, you know, like, you know, who is it that you want to become? Okay, I want to become this woman that's got a good, strong body, that feels happy in her skin, that sleeps well, that has good digestion, good energy. Okay, cool. Take the action. Action crushes the stories, because if you don't take action, you will just keep telling yourself the stories and you'll find evidence to support them and you'll keep going around in circles. And it works, you know, because I do it every day. Like, in business, something will happen and I'll be like, sometimes think, well, you're not good enough. You're not going to be able to build this business. But then I just go, no, Kitty, what's the action that you can take to be the woman that builds a $10 million business that helps thousands of women around the world? You know, does she sit there and go, I can't do this? And I think that's the same for women. And if you're listening to this, you know, like, you can do it. You've just got to be able to navigate those stories, because they're going to come and they're going to continue to come. Like, you must still have it sometimes, like maybe not for the nutrition because you're pretty, but everyone's human. Like, everyone has.
100%. I think we all go through, because I mean, you know, life is going to go ups and downs. I have certainly had some ups and downs even after I grasped the thoughts of nutrition. You know, it just, that's the ride that you get put on. And I think it's all there to teach you something, right? It's all in your face for you to grow or whatever. You can look at it however you want. But you have to be like, you have to start, you know, and this is what I tell people too, because this is not just about you in getting healthy. This is about the relationship you're having with yourself. Because we all have, as women, as we've grown up, we've all created this really shitty relationship with ourselves because we've been so focused on our exterior and that we are not enough unless we look a certain way. Whatever it is, that is certainly part of the narrative. And if you can just be okay and be kind to yourself, and like when you start having those thoughts, you're like, you know what? Okay, those are my old self talking shit to me. You know what? But I'm not going to listen to that shit. I know this is what I need to do. This is what I need to focus on. And that's what you do with your business or everything else. And then it's you understanding that those thoughts are going to come up. We still have those. I can get them away much quicker now and then continue to go on, because it doesn't, whether they're true or not true, it's irrelevant. You know, it's the only thing that matters is, again, what you want to focus on and put your energy into. You want to focus yourself on all the shitty shit, you know, even if you got a lot of shit going on, you can focus on that. Or you can maybe focus on the one fucking good thing in your life, focus on that and build on that. And then that will create that new path for you that you can continue to make all these shifts and changes, right? I mean, you didn't get to where you were overnight. You know, you took a lot of hard work. You made a lot of decisions. You kept building on it and building on it and building on it, you know, and that's how it works.
And I think too, it's like, you just like go to, and we have this in our business, we don't quit, we fail forward. And you have to, like a lot of women say, oh, we really like your program, you should give us a safe space to fail. And it's like I've learnt the most from the failures. Like, because you can theorize, you can plan, you know, as much as you want, even in our business, you know, it's like, but you've got to push the boundaries and you've got to test and put, like, I think, and then it's when you do that, then you learn from, you stumble, you fall, so what? You know, like, fail hard, fail fast, pick yourself back up and keep going. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? And I think too, like, for me, my certainty has grown because I've failed, picked myself up, I've taken action, I've beaten the stories, and it's just it's confirmed that I can do it. Because all of you can do it. Every single one of you can do it. And, you know, like, you don't want to get to 90 and look back at your life. Well, you probably won't even make it to 90 if you keep eating shit and, you know, like eating booze or whatever. And, you know, like all my grandparents are in hospital at the moment. And my granddad's 90, so he's lived a pretty long life. But my grandma's only 80 and she's in terrible shape. Like, because she was fat her whole life. She ate like polyunsaturated fats, drank alcohol, and you can see it now. Like, you can see it compared to like my other friend whose granddad's 98. He still lives on his own at home, grew up on a farm, ate, you know, killed the animals, drank milk for, you know, just like we eat. And he's sharp and he's physically well. So it's like, you know, I just think I want to live my best life, you know, and I think sometimes changing the narrative too is facing up to things that you're afraid of. And, you know, like a lot of women in our program, and I used to do the same, as I would drink to just push down the pain and the problems, and I wouldn't face the issues, and it would take it away for a short period of time. But I really feel like this and doing this, it helps you do that too, because it makes you go, I'm treating the problem. I'm not trying to mask the symptom. I'm going to actually treat the issue.
Yeah. And I think, I think what is a big part of this program is when you are consumed with thoughts of exercise and eating, you don't have a lot of brain space for other stuff, you know? And what happens when people start kind of working on that and that gets better, and all of a sudden now they're not obsessed with food. Now all of a sudden they don't have to work out 17 hours a week. And now guess what happens? Now you have time to think about, unfortunately, probably some other shit you need to deal with. But I mean, the layers start unraveling, but then you're allowed to grow, and then you're allowed the opportunity to see and fix other stuff that you didn't even know was there, you know? And that's part of what happens is that people are like, oh, I didn't even know about this shit and this shit and this shit. I'm like, well, you know, you fix that and now you're going to have to fix this another way, but that just makes you getting better. And then it's going to keep building on that foundation. You're just becoming a better person.
I know. And And that's why I think, like, and probably you're so passionate about it too, and we are, is that because it's got to start with this, like looking after yourself and putting good food into your body and sleeping and loving yourself again is like, that's the foundation for everything. And because once you fix that, you're right, then you can just do life better and you can focus on life and you can live your best life and do the things that you're scared of, because you're not like sleep deprived and your hormones are all out of whack and you just want to kill someone because you want to smash 10 cupcakes, like, and you don't hate yourself anymore. You know, like you love your body.
It's brutal. I mean, I would say 90% of the people, you know, that I work with, more women than anything, the conversation that it goes on in their head is exhausting. And I get it because I had it. You know, it's an exhausting place to be, and it wears you out and it beats you up because you're like trying to become and be something that you can't because it's impossible because of everything that you're doing to support yourself. And it's just like you're going up a freaking mountain blindfolded with high heels on with a 100-pound backpack on. It's just not happening, you know, and it's such a struggle. And when we start taking that stuff off and feeding you so you can actually move and get through life, God, life becomes a whole hell of a lot easier. You know, even though you're still gonna have stuff, but you know, you fix these things and I assure you that your life will become better.
Oh, totally.
So
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we always say, I'm like,
you don't.
Yeah, you go.
No, I was just gonna say is that, you know, even when I look back, and I'm sure you might too, and I'll start talking about, you know, I don't ever like binge or, I mean, I couldn't tell you that was 8-9 years ago when that happened, the last time I've done something like that, right? It's not even a thought process anymore. If I can't exercise, it doesn't bother me at all. If I go to vacation, I don't exercise. I mean, I just live and enjoy my time and things like that. There was a time I could never do that. I had to exercise every day. It would drive me nuts if I couldn't. I mean, and I had to eat and be restrictive, and it would just take my life over. And it was a hard way to live. And you know, it was exhausting.
And I think too, like, and we talk about this in the program, and I did a live on it the other day, is if you want true freedom, you have to be disciplined, because it takes hard work and discipline to get there. Like, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Not only do you have to learn and educate yourself on food and training, you have to change your mindset. You have to change deep ingrained behaviors, and it's not going to happen overnight, but it is so worthwhile. Like, I think about like the you know, like where I am now compared to where I was 4 years ago. Like, it's been a process, you know, and I've had ups and downs and road bumps, but now I actually feel free, true freedom from food restriction. I truly look at my body and I don't analyze it anymore. And I'm not like, you know, you're not lean enough, you're not this, you're not that, you know. I don't, like you say, if I miss a day's training, I mean, I do strength training because I love it and I love to be strong and I really enjoy the challenge, but some weeks I'll only train once or twice because the business is so busy. But I don't beat myself up and I don't worry that I'm going to like stack on 10 kilos. It just doesn't happen, you know. But that shit doesn't come without discipline. You know, you everything in life
That's right.
Yeah. And it's harder at the start, but if you keep at it, it slowly gets easier and easier, I think.
Yeah, I always tell people this is like learning a new language, right? I mean, if you don't know Spanish and all you've ever spoken is English, and you're not going to learn Spanish in one day. And it does help to submerge yourself into the process, right? That's why it does help to be with a coach or in a program. All those things are going to help support you. I mean, some people can do this on their own. You know, they can read the book and they can get really far. And I mean, it's awesome, you know, but submerging yourself in whatever you think is going to help you is going to get you there a lot faster, because it does help to have a support system through this process, because the rest of the world is going to be telling you something different. You know, especially with ketogenics and the low carb approach and intermittent fasting and all of these things that's very hyped up right now because it's very sellable and there's a great marketing plan around it. Our approach isn't that sellable per se to marketing world, because there's not tons of supplements, there's not tons of product, it's not quick, you know. It's like they were like, no, you know, but it's the approach that works. So if you can get into something that's going to be supportive to you, it's going to help you immensely, and it's worth every penny.
Oh, it changed, and you know, constantly, and as we grow and we get bigger, and you know, women get better results. Just some of the feedback that I get about the, you know, this, it's like it saved me. It changed my life. Like, it's life changing. It truly, truly is. Because I think to myself, like, okay, it's taken me 4 years to get to this spot, but I'm not even 40. I plan to live till I'm 100. So, you know, I've got 60 years left. What's 4 years for 60 more years of, you know, being free and enjoying life and eating food? And, you know, like, it's such a, you've got to put things in perspective. I think, ladies, if you're watching this and you're like, oh yeah, but they say it's going to take me this long, but it's actually not that long, you know, and things get easier.
Yeah. And the thing is, it is. I mean, like I said, when you first learn Spanish, it's more challenging. You got to like really invest in the classes and so forth. But, you know, then maybe go to Spain. But I'm saying, as you start to learn it, it becomes just like this process. It becomes easier, and then it becomes way easier because it's so much easier to live this way than it was your old way, right? And then you're like, why haven't I done this quicker? Because this is so much better, right? And I'm not saying Spanish is better than English. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying that put the investment in and do it, because the result at the end is your life is going to not continue to be harder. It's not going to constantly be a grind. It's going to just get easier, and everything in your life is going to become easier. So that's what you need to know is going to happen, you know, if you continue to do what you're supposed to be doing. So,
and you know what, like, and I always say to women in our program, I'll never ask you to do something that I don't do myself or believe in fully. And I so believe in investing in yourself, you know, investing in coaching. And I continue to invest in coaching. Like, we have a business coach, you know, I have a strength training coach, and I've trained with different people, because it's not that I need it. I want it. I want to continue to grow. I want to be in communities of people that push me to be better, that, you know, have better standards for themselves, and that want to learn. Because I think for me, every day, just getting up and learning and growing is exciting. You know, learning something new every day. I love it. It's exciting. It's like, if I'm not growing, I feel bored. You know, and I talk to, you know, like my coach, like my business coach, every week he'll tell me something. Oh, fuck yeah. I'm like, that's really awesome. And then I go ahead and I do it, and I learn this new skill. And I think that if you can get up every day and you can feel good and sleep well and feel energized, and if you can grow, like, you'll have a happy life, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's a great point, because I think if you can put that thought process into this process, that every day you're going to learn something new. And if you apply it, it's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that, you know, that actually worked. Right. And so it is that, because there is a lot to learn, and but it's stuff that you'll be like, wow, when I start doing that, when actually I start adding sugars into my, you know, my program, I don't want to binge on them all the time. Well, that's so fascinating. Yeah, cool. So, you know, to me, and I always like to have conversations with my clients, because I like to know, a lot of people come in very freaked out, scared. They're like totally freaked out that, you know, you're going to make them eat a bunch of carbs, and they're freaked out that they can't work out. And, you know, I'm like, look, this is your journey. We go at your pace. And if something stresses you out that I'm telling you to do, then let me know. And then we'll do it very slow, and we'll move you through it. And then all I want you to do is track it and tell me how you feel. So if you go work out and then your temp and pulse tank to the ground, that's just information. You know what you're doing to your body. You know that was probably too much for you. So you base your decisions on that, not on me telling you what to do or what not to do. You know, this is a knowledge-based program where you get feedback immediately, because you're taking pulse, you're logging your food, so that you know if stuff is working for you or not. Versus, you know, taking a lab, and 6 months from now you take another lab and you're like, what you did was wrong or right. Well, you know, this is a day-to-day information feedback system where you know if you're on the right track, and you will know based on the information you're given.
And I think, yeah, it's like, it's just, I find that exciting, the testing and measuring, and the, you know, it's like, rather than just go, I'm just gonna do the same thing every day for the rest of my life, you know, like, I mean, we do similar stuff, but, you know, I think, like, say, if you can switch your mindset to a growth, learning, this is learning, I'm learning, it's experience, you know, it's exciting. But that's probably a talk for another time, about being, you know, open to change. And with, yeah, that's another.
There's a lot that goes on all through this, which is, I think, to me, that's why I'm so passionate. I know that's why you is, because you see the change that can happen in people. You know, when I talk to people, or when I get emails from people, saying I've implemented these ideas and I cannot believe how much better I feel. Or, oh my God, I did this and I can't believe how much better I feel. Or I work with someone, they're like, I can't believe I went on vacation and I lost weight and I didn't freak out about food. And it's just constant. You're like, and I'm like, I know, it's amazing. And it is. And then they change their lives and then they make bigger changes and then they grow. And then, it's really awesome to see it so possible with people. And it happens at that foundation. It happens at that physiological foundation of getting them in a good place that their body will allow this to happen.
No, I know. It's really exciting. I think, it just excites me every day to get up and do it. It's very rewarding. Yeah, probably as it is for you too. But we've gone way over today. We've had a good long chat today, haven't we?
I know. I'm always like, I'm only going to give her 20 minutes, and I'm like 2 hours.
Like 40 minutes later. But that was awesome. Is there anything else you want to add before we finish up?
No, just, you know what, if you're watching this, cause I'm not a seller of stuff, and you have your programs. And I think if it's any of this, information makes you think, then, I think it's important that you contact Kitty, you contact me, and you continue the conversation. Cause I think it is a game changer. Oh,
totally. And it's like I'm a seller because I believe in what we do. And I actually think that you investing in working with Kate or us in our program, if you want to lift weights, it will change your life. And you can either, because there's so much information out there, and you can either keep going round and round in circles and doing the same stuff and getting confused and getting lost in the jungle, or you can come with us and you can walk with people who've got a roadmap that can get you there quicker, because it's the best investment you'll ever make. And I remember working with Emma the first time, and it was the best, whatever, I spent $3,000 for however long. I would have spent hundreds of thousands if I knew how much it would change my life, because it's amazing. And I just don't think you'll ever regret it, because you got to invest.
As long as you do it. Again, as we say, you can't just get on the program and not do it. You got to do it. You got to participate. You got to try stuff. You got to do the work. You can't be like, well, I don't like login. I'm like, okay, well, this problem is not probably for you.
Yeah, because this is why we do it like we do, and like you do it like you do, because the client has to be the one that makes the changes. Because if we just tell you what to do, if we give you a meal plan, if we don't educate you, you'll walk away like every other fucking program out there with no knowledge. You won't be empowered. You won't have control back again. And that's what you need. And if you don't put the work in and learn yourself, you'll never get there. You'll never be free. You'll be trapped for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's interesting when women come into our program. It's overwhelming, but I say to them, just embrace the overwhelm and fail forward. Trust me, no one's going to die. Just go hard at the start. And once they do that and they get it out of their head and they just keep trying, they're like, oh, I can actually do this. And then it gets so much easier. 12 weeks time, 6 months time, the women that have been with us for 12 months, they're like, this is a fucking breeze. I can do meal plans. I know what food works for my body. I'm good at lifting now. It's always going to be hard at the start. Expect it, embrace the overwhelm, and just fail forward and never give up. Never, ever, ever give up, because you'll get there eventually. Quitting does not make it go fast. These women that join our program and they hit roadblocks and they quit, and I just feel like shaking them and going, just keep going. You've just got to keep going. You'll get there. Just don't worry. We all fail. Just keep going. But anyway, I better let you go, because we've got our 2-day Win at Life event this weekend, which is so exciting.
Oh, nice.
We're flying into Brisbane, and we're doing lifting and mindset stuff, and Jim Bostock's coming in to talk about the body, and
oh, that's awesome.
It's going to be so good.
If you weren't so, I'd be over there.
Oh, I know.
If you guys could send your jet to come get me, I'd appreciate that.
Well, the jet that we don't have, but if you ever come to Australia, you have to come stay with us.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a thing after about 5 or 6 hours of flying, it's if I have to either go private, or it's only can be 5 or 6 hours away from me.
Oh, it's the worst. I hate flying. Lynn's having his catch up in San Francisco, I think, and I wasn't going to go, but then he's like, Kitty, don't be shit. You need to come.
Oh, you're going to come to San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm coming. Where do you live?
I live in San Diego. It's an hour and a half flight.
Actually,
it's a 9-hour drive.
Maybe it is in San Diego. Maybe it is in San Diego. I'll find out and I'll message you. It's either San Diego or San Francisco. I don't know, but I'll have a look.
Where are you going? What is it?
It's April the 29th, I think. No, the 20th.
What is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, so he has like a catch up every 6 months for all the people in his program.
Oh, your coach. Okay, so you
Yeah.
fly
So it's like
I
a
got you.
2-day thing. So
Okay.
I'll find out where it is. If it's near you, we can catch up
Yeah.
and see
Let
you
me
face
know.
to face. Yeah.
Totally.
Exciting. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thanks so much, Kate, and I shall see you next time.
You got it. Talk
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye.